Okay, today I'm going to show you how to upload questions to a quiz on the Moodle that you may have created in another program. For example, I use ExamView Pro. It's a very powerful test creation tool, and I'm going to show you how to upload this. But the essence of any program that you may use, for example, Hot Potato, it's the same. So you can follow these steps with only very slight modifications. Okay, so we're going to have to go to add an activity here on the main page once we've logged in. And we're going to go add a quiz. Okay, so we're going to click quiz. We're going to name our quiz. In this one I'm going to do the example of the biology pre-quiz, mostly because it has some pictures that I'm going to add and show you how to do that. Biology pre-quiz. Okay, so we can, once again, we have all those options that I talked about for the quiz, but for now I'm not going to choose any of these options except maybe shuffle questions and maybe the browser security here. But it doesn't really matter because when you're actually creating your quiz, obviously you'll want to create it the way that you want to create it. Alright, so we're going to hit Save and Display. And once we get here, we can see that we have a few default questions. When it says default for life science, microbiology, what that means is that these questions can be accessed from any quiz within microbiology. Now the reason this is useful is because if you have all of your quiz questions in this default for life science, and don't worry, you can always move them back and forth between quizzes and the main section. If you have all of your questions and you have not yet created something like a midterm, or a quarter exam, or even a final, this is very useful because you will be able to see all of your questions from all of your quizzes as long as they're in the default for and your class name here. So that can be very useful for picking random questions and composing a midterm test from the questions that you have used on previous tests. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Import. Okay, and this is where we're going to choose our format. In this particular case, we're going to choose regular Blackboard because that's the format that we're going to export it to. On the category, I'm going to actually, even though I just rambled on about that, why you should have them in the main course unit, I'm actually just going to do default for biology pre-quiz because I don't think that those questions are going to be in any sort of midterm. Okay, now here's where we would push browse and choose the file, but we have to take a break and actually export the file. So I'm going to minimize my browser here. I'm going to open up the test in ExamView, and I'm going to export it in the correct format. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to hit File, I'm going to choose Export, and I'm going to choose Blackboard 5.x. Okay? And then I'm going to navigate to my desktop where I want to save it, and I'm going to name it Biology Pre-Quiz. Okay, and I'm going to hit Save. The name here doesn't really matter what you put for any of these fields. They won't be used, so I'm just going to go ahead and put Biology Pre-Quiz. Now, if you have any images in your quiz, which I'll show you in a second I do, I'm just going to name it A. It doesn't really matter what you name it, but I like to name it A. And when that's done saving, I'll scroll down here, and you can see that I do actually have a couple of questions with quiz, or a couple of the quiz questions with images. For example, I have this mitosis picture, and then down here I have this euglena here. Okay, so now that we've exported it, we can actually now close this quiz as long as we remember what the questions are. So I'm going to minimize it for now and pretend this is a new quiz for us and we don't really know. We're going to have to unzip this file, so we're going to hit Extract All and walk through the menu and say that we want to extract it to the desktop and then say Finish. It's going to open up and it's going to have this .dat file. Now that's where all, as you might expect, DAT data, that's where all the data is stored, whereas that's the questions and other things. Now we also have this folder with a similar name, RES, and a bunch of zeros. If we go inside here, there's a bunch of subfolders that we don't really need to pay attention to. But here's A, where we titled our pictures folder, and we have two pictures. This one, MC0091, isn't that descriptive? That's lovely. That's the mitosis picture. And MC0151, that's the euglena picture. Okay, so now that we understand the file, the way this organizes it, we're going to need to upload this DAT file. So I'm going to go back to my quiz import settings here. Remember that we chose Blackboard and we chose default for biology pre-quiz. And I'm going to hit browse, and I'm going to browse for the file. I'm going to choose where it is, which it's in this biology pre-quiz unzipped folder. Make sure you don't click the zip folder. That will try to upload the actual zipped file, but you want to upload the one that you extracted, which is a folder without the little zip icon. We're going to double click that. We're going to click on the data file here that we talked about, and we're going to hit open. And we're going to hit upload this file. That's going to import all of our questions from this quiz, and we'll take a look, and you see that there are 15 questions here, and these are all of our questions from our quiz. The answers are along with them, you just can't see them right now. Okay, and as you'll see, which process is represented by the series of diagrams below, that would be the mitosis question, but it's missing, MC009-1.jpg, and then of course the which specimen is this, which is the answer is euglena, and there's its picture too, but it's missing. That's because pictures don't upload separately from ExamView. So we're going to hit continue here, and here's all of our questions. We can remember we have to add them to the quiz, so we're going to have to go back to the quiz section here, and here's all of our questions here, and you'll see that there are all these questions over here, and it says no questions have been added to the quiz yet. So remember that we're going to have to add all of these, just like we did in the quiz section of the regular Moodle training. Okay, now we have to fix those two that have the pictures missing. Okay, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. If it wasn't tricky already. So I'm going to right-click on LS Micro because I want to stay in this quiz. I just want to open a new tab for LS Micro, and I'm going to say open in a new tab so I can do two things at once here. And I'm going to need to add the two pictures as resources. I'm not going to link to them, but I need to add them as resources. So it doesn't matter where you put them. I mean, you could put them anywhere because we're not actually linking to them. It's just going to pretend like we're linking to them. So I'm going to hit link to a file or website, and I'm going to hit choose or upload a file. I have to click it twice because it wants me to put in a name first, but you don't have to. We're going to hit choose or upload a file, and then we're going to scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to hit upload a file, and we're going to hit browse, and we're going to go into our folders. You should be located, by the way, here if the last thing that you did was that. If you happen to be kicked back out for some reason to the desktop or something like that, once again, it's in the biology pre-quiz folder with the RES, all the zeros. And we just keep on going through these folders until we get to our pictures, and we're going to choose that one, and we're going to upload that one. Okay, so file uploaded successfully, so we know that worked, and we're going to upload the other picture while we're at it. So we need to choose that second picture and upload that as well. And it says file uploaded successfully, and let's see if we can find them. Yes, there's 009 and there's 015. Okay, so those were our two. It helps to remember the names because then you can locate them. But remember that there's always this time code to let you know it's July 17th, 828, July 17th, 828. So we know that these are the correct ones. Okay, so we're going to close this, and we can even just we can either hit cancel or we can just close this entire tab because now those are uploaded. Now we need to find the questions. We're back in the editing quiz section, and we need to find those questions and make sure that we fix that link to the picture. So this is where it comes in handy to have that quiz still open, because then we can reference the question name. One says which process is represented by the series of diagrams below, and we can say wherever that question is, it's down here at the bottom, which process is represented by the series of diagrams below. So we're going to hit the little edit button, and we're going to delete this picture here. You can try to select on it and hit delete. But in this particular case, for some reason, it is not deleting. But it's not going to show up in there anyway. So if we try to edit up here, no, it doesn't give us that option. So if you can't delete it, don't worry about it. It's not really a big deal. What we're going to do is we're going to look for this image to display part right here, and we're going to choose 0091, which, if you'll remember, was our mitosis picture. So then we're going to scroll all the way down to hit save, and we're going to say save changes. Now remember, we had one more picture that we have to upload, so we're going to go down here, and it's the what specimen is this question. We're going to go back to our quiz again. I see the what specimen is this question here. We're going to click on the edit button. And then once again, I'm going to give it a shot to try to delete this, but it doesn't appear to be letting me. Oh, okay. So if you click to the side of it, it will allow you to delete that. Okay, so we're going to go to image to display, and we're going to hit MC015-1.jpg. That was, remember, our Euglena picture. If you can't remember these, it's not really a big deal, because remember that you can always go back to your desktop and go through the folders and double check and just open and say, ah, yes, it looks like 15-1 was the Euglena picture, to make sure that you have the right one. Okay, and now that we've chosen that, we can scroll all the way down and do Save Changes. Now, just to make sure that these picture questions worked, we're going to take the what specimen is this question as an example, and we're going to click the magnifying glass, which is the preview question, and we're going to see that that it is displayed correctly here, and we can see that this question is here, and if we choose the correct answer and hit submit, then we can see that it's working. Now, the other questions without pictures, you can also, of course, preview to make sure that they're working, but they will text will automatically import with that DAT file, and so you won't have to really worry about fixing those.